What's up, guys? Hades here. So, KvK is in Zone 2, and after all the fighting and the battles, I have a very good grasp of what teams are dominating. So I'm making a KvK tier list. Now, this is not every single variation. There are hundreds of variations. You know, if you change one immortal, you change a dragon. I'm not going to consider all those. I did do a few that are very similar, and we'll go through them quickly, and I'll explain why some of them are better than others. But remember, metas develop metas in themselves, so people have to try and counter the meta marches. And we're going to start with this team right here. Loki, Fu Fei with 2 tanks. This is S tier. Why? It has Loki. Loki right now is the absolute #1 immortal, and it's honestly not that close. And the reason I'm putting it here is I need some room. So 1, 2, 3, somewhere around there. The next team on the list is going to be something very similar, except a slightly upgraded dragon and replace of YSS for Ares. But this one has Apollo. Now this one is actually just a tiny bit weaker, and I'll explain why once we get to some of the next marches. Now here is the top dog. This is the best march in KvK. It's honestly not that close. When we look at the map and we go to the rankings, the top guys are using Anubis with Ares, but the ones that are dominating are the ones using Max, Knife Through Butter with Alex, and there's a bunch of them. You can see them everywhere. So many people are using Alex, and there's a reason, right? We don't just use Alex to use Alex. It's because he's the best Knife Through Butter user. Now, the second best march, in my opinion, is Ares, and that's about it. It's Loki with Ares. Why? Now, you'd think Apollo would be stronger. Here's what happens. In these fights, Alex Knife Through Butter procs so much that sometimes the mages and the backline, so Apollo and Loki, don't even get to ult. Now here's the difference. Loki has infinite firepower, which activates no matter what, and Apollo does not. Apollo was 100% reliant on his ultimate. If Knife Through Butter activates a high frequency, Apollo does nothing. If Alex does high frequency, Loki still does a lot. That's the problem, and that's the difference in these tiers. Now we have some other ones. These are gonna go in slightly lower tiers. I'm a big fan of the Thunder Dragon, Alex, Khan. This is gonna go probably here. Why? When you match up into a whale march, you can have your Alex hit their Alex and have their Khan hit their Alex, and you can make the Alex feel pain and sometimes kill it, and then you can win a rally, right? And the same thing goes here, except mages are better. Mages are just a little bit better than Khan, so this type of team is just a little bit better than this type of team. But the same thing goes for this one. It's a full Alex carry. So if your Alex is being fully supported, you can more than likely take on their Alex, and then whoever's behind you is going to have a great chance at beating them, right? Then again, mages are solid, but this just doesn't have Knife Through Butter. Not a huge fan. Same with this team. A few people use this. My wife uses something similar. It is Loki, but there's no Knife Through Butter, which makes it awkward. However, it is just so good and so bulky. It is a strong team in general. And then I have this team with Apollo, Alex. I'm going to put this in the A tier, just on the side. I'm not a huge Apollo fan in this current meta. Then there's the cheapest, easiest, which no one actually has. There's a reason I put this in another color. No one in the top like 100 or 200 is using Hybrid. I actually think Hybrid is probably A tier, maybe higher, but it's really hard to tell because no one's using it. I'm gonna just slot it into B. but I'll explain why it might actually be higher if someone actually showed a maxed team with some better backline immortals and a little creativity. Because Zenobia is definitely can be upgraded, and then the rest of hybrid is very solid. Why is this good? It's the same concept that Alex is good. Alex hits Alex, but then Hannibal cleaves Alex, and you're even more likely to succeed in your mission as a rally lead or as a part of a rally in general. And I actually discussed a lot of this with someone I have a high respect for, which is Icy Coffee. We talked about a lot of just details of all the immortals and why they're good and what the meta is and who has the best march and stuff like that. So we have a really good read on the meta. This is kind of the flow of everything. Now take it that, you know, if someone has the correct boost and the right skills, and there's a ton of variation within each march, so keep that in mind. But this is the current KvK model. Pretty much this is the flow. If you didn't know, or you're like, oh, I want to build this march, remember the meta is probably going to change every 2 to 3 months, and whatever is here might not be here in the future. But guess what? Alex has been strong for a long time. I feature him on my channel almost all the time because he's one of my favorite. Mages will always be here in some way, shape, or form. You always need supports. So having all the pieces is nice so that you have flexibility. But yeah, I hope you like these kind of videos. And if you like tier lists, make sure to leave a like and a comment. And I'll check you guys in the next one.